I got this ambient space piano just in Omnisphere. For these kind of ambient beats, I feel like if you stretch out your melody like over 8 bars instead of 4, like usually I make melodies like this long. Over 8 bars, I just find it easier to make. These are the root notes that I used. So I started in D sharp minor, but I eventually like put a lot of like reverb effects and stuff and like washed out as a part of like the sound design. I eventually like printed my whole melody into audio and I reharmonized it down to semitones, down to C sharp minor. This is how we started out with Omnisphere. This is essential for ambient melodies. It's a reverb and delay plugin. So this plugin is free. You go to valhalladsp.com. Super massive, yeah. Go check it out. It's really good for ambient melodies. So you can see I just really washed this stuff out. Some burial type stuff. Then I just put halftime on it. Then I layered that with another Omnisphere. So this patch is called Clarion Reality. That's what it sounds like dry. And then I put halftime on it and then I drowned it out in reverb again. This time it's only like 42%. The previous instrument I put it at like 100%, so it's full washed out. This is what this one sounds like. I went ham with Omnisphere because it has like, obviously it's a Rumpler, so it has like real sounds in it. They're just like sampled sounds, like mixed with instrument sounds. So it's obviously great for ambient because they're just like real instrument textures and environmental textures and stuff like that. So yeah. So this next one, processing goes Omnisphere. We're going Valhalla, 100%. Halftime again, but this time I blended it in 62%. And the Omnisphere patch is called Love Triangle Bells. So this is what it sounds like dry. Then with the processing on it. So that's another reason that I printed it out into audio, because you'll notice when I start playing it, it'll sort of take like this length of time before it starts really playing. And that's because the reverb has washed it out. It's got this huge like tail at the start. So printing it out into audio, I can just like kind of chop that tail off and just put it to like the good section of audio that is useful. If that makes sense in any way. I'll show you what I mean by it. So this is the audio, and this is probably the start of it, but I just like kind of chopped that off and then I just used this useful part. And then this last element was just like a serum sine lead. So it's just literally an analog sine. It's got a delay on it. It's at like 50% pretty much. I just always go mono, legato, always, and then turn the portamento up to like 5 milliseconds, just so the notes like glide between each other. And it sounds like this. I just recorded that, obviously, like freezed, flattened it as you do in Ableton. So it's like a MIDI track. Right click it, and then I just go freeze track. And then once it freezes, you right click it again and you go flatten track, and then it turns into this audio. So then when I was working with the audio, this is what it sounds like. So I've basically just selected all these tracks. For this one, I've gone down a whole octave and then 2 semitones just to get it to C sharp minor. I basically just like dropped it an octave because it sounded even better, even lower. And I did that for these 2 elements. So they're both pads, I think. That's something that you'll find like it's a really big part of ambient sound design, like for these ambient beats, like for like Joey, Shed Theory, Marlon Du Bois, just play around with octaves, like drop them pretty low, and yeah, I feel like you'll be pretty surprised at like how good they sound like really low as well. I think that's just kind of like the whole kind of vibe of their music. It's just like really kind of like dark ambient, but yeah. Then this one just dropped it 2 semitones. I also do this like detune it by 2 cents, like just a couple of cents, just to I don't know, just so it's not like perfect pitch, and it just gives like this kind of like analog feel, so it's slightly detuned. Because like if you're using like a real instrument in real life, like a guitar or something, it's not going to be perfectly tuned, even like analog synthesizers. Like, and then I've just done the same with the sine lead, down 2 semitones and down 2 cents. So yeah, that's my melody. And then this is what it sounds like with drums. This is a really fun part that I like about these ambient beats. On the master bus, just for like effect purposes and kind of like transitioning and stuff like that, it is a thing where they put like a reverb on the master bus just to like transform the environment. It's at like 100%. So you'll notice my automation is just for this section at the start. So it's just kind of like an intro. I really like to just like audition like, I don't know, as many reverbs as you want onto the master bus just while the track's playing, because you can come up with some like pretty interesting sounds. So then for the 808s, I feel like what I was saying at the start, having the melody spread out over 8 bars, I feel like it helps spread out the section, like the drums. When you're like inputting your 808, it's not chopping and changing like so suddenly. If it was like over like say 4 bars, it'd be a little bit overwhelming like switching between 808s, I feel. But because the melody progresses over like 8 bars, like double the time, you can kind of switch out these 808s and it just like kind of fits in there nicely. Well, for me anyway. But essentially what I do is I just like make the bass line, and then I'll just go through and like chop out a pattern, and then I'll just make like a new track and yeah, just kind of like patch in multiple 808s and just audition them all just to trial what sounds good together.